Gen 9 feels weird. Hey guys, welcome to the Game Burrow, and no, I'm not talking Pokemon. I'm talking the 9th console generation, Series X, PS5. Alongside the recently announced PS5 Pro, which means we're already at the mid-gen refresh stage of these consoles' lifespans. Something's not right. As mentioned in my debut, The Patient Gamer Paradox, I only own 4 true Gen 9 exclusives. Now, when I say true Gen 9 exclusive, that means only playable on Gen 9 hardware. So whilst the likes of a Diablo 4 for example, or a Callisto Protocol, or even a Jedi Survivor are technically Gen 9 games, they're all also playable on the Xbox One and PS4. So you don't need to upgrade your hardware to play these, although I wouldn't recommend anyways. The more I thought about it, the more I felt unjust about the lack of true Gen 9 titles to actually justify the purchase of these machines, outside of the luxury load times compared to past generations. The mid-gen refresh is an important chapter in the life cycle of a system. It's the moment of reflection, where you look upon how all the games released in the past 4 years truly utilised the consoles thus far. For as much flack as the 8th console generation gets, you cannot deny this is a heavy lineup of true Gen 8 titles, all of which predate the release of that generation's mid-gen refresh, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. I chose to only show first party and at the time exclusive true Gen 8 titles, so you can understand just how far we've fallen. As of my writing this, the first party true Gen 9 exclusive front for these two hulking systems looks like this. It stings even more when you realise this is what Gen 7 had in store, pre-mid-gen refresh. You had to own a 360 or PS3 to play these. You had to own an Xbox One or PS4 to play these. If you own a Series X or PS5, these are your choice of true Gen 9 titles on an exclusive front. This noticeable lack of games by comparison does also stretch to third-party multi-platform titles. Both prior gens have that beat too. But why? What gives? Is it simply a quality over quantity thing? Is it that AAA games simply take a lot longer to make now? Is it that companies don't believe in generations anymore and would rather not leave the install base behind? Or is the generational leap just not as big as it used to be? To an extent, all of the above. Not wanting to leave behind a large install base is not a new concept. Third-party publishers were releasing games onto the PS2 well into the 2010s. But they're trying to sell software. Sony and Microsoft have hardware to move. You make games exclusive to your new system in the hopes it will sell your new system. That's why I've made a point to emphasize exclusives. But now, Microsoft doesn't make an effort to sell Xboxes, and Sony doesn't need to make an effort to sell PS5s. When I look at most of these titles, I can believe they simply wouldn't run on Gen 8 hardware, without some serious performance issues. I do also believe with each console generation the leap gets significantly smaller. You try putting a 360 disc in the original Xbox. What the fuck? The fact that these console generations are beginning to bleed together might make the current systems feel a bit obsolete, but I see a positive, which I'll get back to later. Finally, on the quality over quantity front and AAA titles taking longer than ever, it's all valid, yet all the more reason I feel conflicted as I work my way through true Gen 9 exclusive Gotham Knights. You see, this game for me is a lot of fun. I'm a simple gamer. You give me my Bat family, let me go fight some Batman villains and ride a bike, you know, I'm a happy guy. But as a fan of Batman video games, having played multiple on both Gen 8 and Gen 7 hardware, I can't help but feel like this title was a massive downgrade on every front imaginable. From gameplay to performance to presentation, everything feels and looks worse, so when you tell me this is a true Gen 9 title, whilst my Xbox One was doing this nearly a decade ago, I feel like the proof simply ain't in the pudding. But in defense of WB, this ain't Rocksteady, and holding any other studio to their standard isn't really fair. In isolation, Gotham Knights is a lot of fun for me. If only Rocksteady also made a true Gen 9 console exclusive.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Off the rip, I'm a Suicide Squad enjoyer. The live service elements really did spoil what is at its core a really dope Arkhamverse game for me. Fun combat loop, phenomenal presentation, and a dope story, but still somehow a downgrade from what came before. I'm not mad. If these games are to justify my owning a Gen 9 system as things stand, then so be it. At the end of the day, we want to justify these purchases. Load times and better performances on older titles are a bonus, but not system sellers. This has been a slower generation, but I feel the blurring between Gen 8 and Gen 9 is foreshadowing of what's to come. As the all-digital age draws near and this console cycle abruptly ends, the PS6 will be announced. I can at least take solace in the knowledge that my last ever console generation will likely bleed into the next for some time. At least until the PS6 Pro comes out.